Hello everyone, it is a Sunday afternoon. We are counting down to kick off. Liverpool are going to be playing Manchester United at Old Trafford in the FA Cup quarter-finals. A place in the semi-finals, of course, therefore up for grabs. That's how things like that work. I'm Paul Machin, Dan Clubb is alongside me, and over at the board is Mr. Chris Pajak himself. Look at him. Look at him. Smiley, beautiful, cuddly man. We are, I'll be honest, half paying attention to this show. Hi. Because we've got the Chelsea-Leicester game on at the same time. They've just had a penalty taken off of them due to VAR because ultimately Nicholas Jackson was fouled outside the box. But the Leicester are down to 10 as a result anyway. Wow, let's get into it. In fact, before we get into it, because ultimately I want to see what happens with this free kick, Jurgen Klopp did his pre-match press conference, talking about injury and availability. Here's that.
Yeah, I'm always definitely ready. Ibu didn't train today. We have to see if he can train tomorrow. But it will be a tight race, which we probably lose, but we don't know. Bobby felt much better. That was uncomfortable, got knocked there, little swelling, and that swelling led to the feeling that there might be something more serious, but it's not. So he's fine. Yeah, that's it. Ryan trained today again, so he's ready as well. And the others, some of the others are after international break.
Yes, we are back, and they still haven't taken the free kick. But they are doing the draft excluder, as we were wondering. Cole Palmer likely to take this one for Chelsea. 15 minutes left to go. Let's just talk it out. It's coming. That's coming. Any second now. Cole Palmer, for those of you who aren't asked, there is another FA Cup game going on. It is Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Come on, Cole. You fucking mank wanker. Hurry up. Oh, no, it's not. It's
That might be the worst thing I've seen. Oh, wow.
Charlie Adam.
Wowzers, that is clear.
Charlie Adams
there.
He's having a nightmare day, Raheem.
Oh, what has he done there?
Look at his
It's high
his
on
standing
wide,
foot.
right?
Oh, it's so bad.
It's nearly at the corner flag. Wowzers, okay, anyway, yeah.
Oh, honestly, God, I maintain my view of Raheem Sterling.
I think he's a terrific player, but he's not been it today. Yeah, some still great Sterling comments. Right, okay, sounds. Dan,
Yeah.
hi. FA Cup, Man United. I'll be honest, it kind of sums up how I'm feeling about this. I am not nervous for this game at all, and it's the first time I think I've ever said that for a Liverpool-Manchester United game. I am really excited, and I'm excited because I got up this morning and I was like, well, it's not till the afternoon, I get to chill out in the morning, have a bit of brekkie, see the kids, do bits and pieces, and then Liverpool are playing Man United, where they'll be strong favourites. It's an FA Cup game. There's a place that said, we're going to Wembley if we win this. This is just great, and look, because ultimately it's not the league either, so I don't want us to lose, but even if we were to lose, the very worst case scenario, it's lower down we rank in terms of priority.
There's definitely an element of the stakes being high, but not as high as they possibly could be, were it to be a league game. I completely agree with that. But I think I can't quite work out my mood and my feelings heading into this one. So I've been absolutely chock all morning, so maybe that's got a part to play in this. But I don't know whether the magnitude of the game hasn't quite sunk in yet, or sort of obviously there's the history element, there's the bragging rights, there's all that sort of stuff. But you're right, as things stand, as we speak right now, I'm very relaxed, I'm very calm about it. And again, it feels strange to come into a game of this size, at Old Trafford especially, such overwhelming favourites, I guess, with all the pressure in a way being on Manchester United, because there's a lot of talk of like do or die for their season and what have they got left to play for after this, and all the pressure that's mounted on Ten Hag as well. So it is nice. It's a bit of a luxury that I've not been afforded too often in my life, hence Old Trafford, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna take it whilst it's here. But yeah, I'm with you. I think when we get a little bit closer to kick off than we are now, maybe those nerves will start to kick in. They're like, okay, this is Man United. I know how much this means to us, etc., etc., etc. But right now, yeah, I'm composed. I'm calm, and I'm looking forward to it, if anything.
How about you, Chris? Pride cometh before a fall, or, are we right to feel like this?
No, I feel very similar to both of you. I'm very, very calm about it, but don't mistake it for apathy. This game matters massively because it's Manchester United. It's just that there's a confidence with watching this Liverpool side that I think me and a lot of other people will have at the moment. So I'm looking at this now thinking, what a side. And it's still got Kelleher and Quansah in there, and, you know, not Conor Bradley or Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm just confident in every single lad that we put on the pitch at the moment. And, you know, if we play half as well as we did against Sparta Prague, we'll muller these today, and I can't wait for it.
I had that general feeling when I was watching that Sparta game. Was that felt like the perfect training exercise ahead of playing Manchester United. It was the minutes in the legs for Salah and Szoboszlai in particular, who looked, particularly Szoboszlai looked a little off it. Since he's come back into the side, he's looked well short of the level in terms of true match sharpness. And we've given ourselves the best possible sort of grounding for this game, really. There's no, like, really, I mean, I guess Gravenberch might be on the bench, but there's no, like, huge fresh injury news, bad. There's no great extra players coming in, but we've had a week to effectively get ready for this game, Dan. So it's for the first time in a while, it feels like Liverpool have got a measure of control here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think the preparation's been absolutely perfect over the past few days, and you're right in terms of what happened in the Sparta game as well. It felt like a bit of a blade sharpened exercise for all intents and purposes for a lot of the attacking lads, especially, and Mo Salah, you mentioned there, looked incredibly sharp. And when you think about how porous Man United have been defensively, maybe not so much as conceding goals, a lot of that's due to Everton's indeficiencies in front of goal, but when they've conceded like 20 shots a game, if not more sometimes, with the way we played midweek and the way we're playing generally, to come back to Chris's point as well, there is an overwhelming confidence with this group at the moment that no matter who goes out there, no matter what the circumstances, we are going to find a way, not just to win the game, but play well, more often than not as well. So I'm with you on that one, but I think in terms of preparation, in terms of, I think the general mood music around the football club as well now is so positive, even on the back of the draw when you factor that in. You mentioned injuries there, Gravenberch is getting close, we know Canate is not too far away as well, we've got Curtis Jones, Trent, all on the back of the international duty, Diogo Jota as well, so everything all of a sudden, you know, touch wood, feels like it's very much, if it wasn't already, definitely pointing in the right direction now.
Yeah. Got a question for you, Chris, as our resident stat man. If Liverpool have 20 shots on goal against Manchester United, how many goals are they likely to score?
I've got no idea, because I've seen games where we've had 20 shots and scored no goals. It depends about the big chances that you create, doesn't it, and who's on the end of them. But let's say today, if Liverpool have 20 shots today, and Salah, Núñez and Diaz have the lion's share of them, I would suggest that we'll score 4 goals. Is that what you wanted to hear, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, 7 would have been great, but
7's fine too.
But it's that thing of,
if Jota was there, I'd have said 7, Paul.
Yeah, but like, this is the thing, Chris. Man United, as Dan points out, they concede a lot of shots. We're a team that takes a lot of shots, and we've got, you know, in Salah, we've got our one of our killers back in. Núñez, we know, is Núñez, so he's just as likely to be a killer in the same game that he screws one over the bar from 4 inches. You'd stand to reason, as you said there, if you can create the opportunities, we've got the lads on the pitch to hurt them.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Obviously, I want to see a bit of Szoboszlai getting into the area again, like we saw midweek and stuff like that. I actually do think it's going to be Szoboszlai left and McAllister maybe on the right-hand side again, because he threw that change out and surprised us all, didn't he? Earlier on in the week. So, yeah, I think, look, Manchester United are crap, but it is Liverpool and it is Old Trafford, so they're going to have, it's going to be difficult just because of those two things. And I think the other thing is, because of the way that we've beaten them in previous seasons, and we've scored 5 against them at Old Trafford, and obviously we've scored 7 at home against them and stuff, I do think that Manchester United will be able to go into this and play in a way that they probably wouldn't against any other side, maybe Manchester City, but I think they're going to sit back. I think they're going to look to hit us on the counter-attack, and actually because of that it might make it more difficult for us. You know, if it was somebody else, they'd come out and play. They're just not very good at it. And Ten Hag's looking for an excuse to sit back and counter-attack, because that's what Manchester United really are about nowadays. You know, they talk about this, you know, historic football side and all this. Like, for the last 10 years, Manchester United have been a counter-attacking side when they're at the best. Yeah. And that they need to change that culture before they can get good at footy again. But they won't be doing it today, so they will be looking to try and make it difficult for us.
Yeah, and I think it's even more than counter-attacking. It's going to be ultra-defensive. defensive, you'd suggest, because this is the knife edge that Ten Hag is on, and this is where he's at with Manchester United. He's not just playing for a place in the next round; he's playing to keep his job. And I stand by this. If he gets absolutely whacked here, Dan, then he's going to be on the job market by tomorrow morning, because they just won't stand for it. Their fans won't stand for it. You don't play particularly if they play like they did against Man City. And I heard it said, I was on BBC Radio Manchester, and they were talking about it going, well, we were 1-0 up at half time, and it was like, you scored a 1 in a million goal that was in no way planned. It was just a couple of good lads managing to scrape something together, and a lad who's having an absolute twat of a season, smashing a hell of a strike in. It wasn't planned. It was luck. So if they try that again and get whacked, then he's in big trouble.
Yeah, I think he is, and I think sort of the precedent is set for that whacking to happen in a way, because obviously what we've done to them in recent times, obviously less so early on the season. I think in terms of Man United's approach, I think Ten Hag will look at that as the blueprint of how to go about their business. Obviously, the Old Trafford factor is slightly more intriguing, because maybe there will be an onus on them from the fans to be ever so slightly more positive. But again, what Chris said there is absolutely spot on. If they have the slightest inclination that they can come out and play, that suits us down to the ground, and then that whacking becomes all the more likely. But yeah, on Ten Hag, I think obviously the unrest within the fan base is a thing, although some are sticking by him. But the fact there's new owners now, for all intents and purposes, at the top of the shop, means that any embarrassment of a result against a team like Liverpool is just a one step too far. I feel like there isn't loads of confidence in him anyway. So I think if he was to get hiding, and again, for pretty much right off the entire season, then if they go out the FA Cup today, what's left for him to stick around for, essentially? If they've got to make a change in the summer anyway, they may as well make it after today.
Yeah, and then get it wrong again would be lovely. The thing we've got to be careful of, Chris, is not allowing them to have something to buy into, because I'm talking about this, about like they won't want to see turgid football, and but if it's working, because I've seen loads of them make the case for how they performed at Anfield. They played shite at Anfield. I know they had a big chance with Højlund, but if their fans get into what they're doing, I mean, it would be hilarious that they've bought into Roy Hodgson style football. But we do have to be wary of that, because if Old Trafford gets on our backs and gets behind their team, then it's still going to be a difficult game.
Yeah, it will be because of that, and I think it's important to not start in the way we did against Manchester City. I think it's important to start the way we did against Sparta Prague, because if they go a goal up, then it's just so much easier for them to sit back and be that ultra defensive side. Whereas if you go a goal up, obviously you get to draw them out a little bit. They might wait till 40, 50, 60 minutes or whatever before they start to do that, but it just breaking their game plan early doors is always a good thing to do, isn't it? And not using the 90. I know we will use the 90 when we want to and stuff, but the team is out. So we do have Kelleher, we have Gomez, we have Endo, Van Dijk, Diaz, Szoboszlai, Nunes, McAllister, Salah, Robertson and Quansah. Right, that's the 11. That is the 11. Subs-wise, we've got Adrian. Yes, we got Gakpo. Yes. Elliott. Yes. Unlucky not to get a start, really. Elliott, I suppose. Timikas, Clark, McConnell, Gravenberch has made a little return here. Hello. Hello. And we got Dans and Bradley, and I don't know where Gravenberch is, so Muzzolowski. So there you go. Oh. Gravenberch has gone for a Burton.
Right.
In its entirety, Creven Kelleher in goal, Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, Quansah, Gomez, Enzo, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Diaz, Nunes and Salah. It is a very, very good side.
Did you forget Jarell Quansah's first name there, or did you just abandon the first name?
I just abandoned it, yeah. I didn't want to have to think about it anymore. It's fine. I know all of the lads' first names. I'm good.
Do you know what Gomez's middle name is?
I do not know what Joseph Gomez's middle name is.
David.
Is it? Oh, there you go.
That's all.
Okay.
What do you think then, people watching at home, listening at home, what do you think of that team? It's good, that, isn't it, Dan? I mean, you're looking at the bench. What I've done of late is I actually don't even look so much at the 11. I look at what our substitute options are, because that's how much our season's been constructed around that. And actually looking at Gakpo, Elliott, Gravenberch, Bradley, and now, funny we can say it, but like Dan's even potentially, Tsimikas. It's not the strongest bench we've put out this season by any stretch, but it's probably in the last month, that's the strongest 11 and the strongest bench we've probably fielded.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, what it's got on that bench is potential game changers if they're required. And I think Conor Bradley falls into that category as well, to be honest with you. He's definitely, Chris mentioned Warrington starts there. Conor Bradley is one of them as well. But obviously when you've got Andy Robertson and Joe Gomez playing the way he is at the moment, it's no surprise to see Conor Bradley given a little bit of a rest. But I think you're right. I think I've been in a similar boat to you in looking at the benches, because I think that's a good way of gauging where we're at as a collective and as a group, because you're right, our bench has at times been, we've had peaks and troughs of it really, we've been absolutely super strong and you think that bench is a world beater, like how on earth have we been afforded such an embarrassment of riches essentially, and Jurgen Klopp's change game from the bench, as you rightly say at times, and it's been a real strength of ours, a real key to how we've gone about constructing this season. But then at other times, I think it's the Brentford game before one of the international breaks earlier on, you looked at it and you thought, oof, okay, like that's kids, you know what I mean? And again, the kids have been outstanding, but Trey and Yanni was on there like a real youngster. So yeah, it's a good way of measuring where we're at. But today, I'm delighted with that. I think it's as strong as possibly we could have possibly been. Obviously factoring in Ibu Konate's absence as well. But I don't remember a side we've been able to field that strong, and not just strong, we mentioned it earlier on, sharp, fit, ready. There's no real question marks in terms of fitness around any of them. Like we know now, all if required could do all 90. And when did we last have that? It was always like, oh, he might just do 60, he might have 45 in his legs, he can probably undo 30 from the bench. I don't really have those questions. The only one be Ryan Gravenberch from the bench, and that's fine. Like we're probably a week removed from being like, there's 6 of these lads that probably need to come off at some point. So that today is perfect.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased with that. I really am. And you know, as Chris mentioned, the Harvey Elliott will be chomping at the bit to get involved in the game. That's absolutely fine. You want someone like that on the bench. Gakpo got goals in midweek, which means, you know, I'm happy for him to go back to taking his place on the bench, and it means that he's there and hopefully in a slightly better goal scoring form, well, definitely in better goal scoring form, but hopefully in also better form in
confidence
general
as well for him, yeah.
And even then, though, again, Dan's being involved. I'm not against him, you know, playing. I've said it for weeks now. I want him to play the Federico Makeda role in the season if he can do. That's for you Manx at home watching. Yeah, we had some cool super chats that I want to just read through. First and foremost, Imran Adam Imi says, "Yes, Chris, you sexy beast."
Accurate, no, it's accurate.
Yeah, he is a sexy beast. That was just one about Conor Cody, which was an accidental button press from me, but thanks anyway. James Lim says, "Think a 4-0 win today. Think he'll go strong because the break's coming up. Fancy another Nunes double today. Can't wait. Nervous but calm. I don't see us losing. Sterling's free kick has just landed." It wasn't bad. Free kick for him, rather. And Edward Lim.
Where did it land? QPR's ground?
Yeah,
Loftus Road, quite possibly.
Edward Lim sent us a little super sticker and 239.9 Mers. So I'm made
Ollie's.
up of that. What?
Ollie Mers?
Ollie Mers, yeah, all gold frankincense hands.
Oh, nice, okay.
Either way, thank you so much. It's wonderful of you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. In fact, I'm going to get the Man United team up and have a little look at that one just to see how that fares, because we know, and they've been keen to talk about their injury problems, and they have been, you know, for them pretty substantial. But there's the team: Onana, Lindelof. They're doing the same thing that we're doing. Lindelof, Fernandes, Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho, Varane, Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, Mainu and McTominay. Højlund's back in?
Yeah.
Are they rushing him back? I hope they're rushing him back.
Exact thoughts were, yeah, they might be rushing him back. And again, it comes back to what I was saying a moment ago about we feel quite settled now because of the preparation we've had and the week we've had, and the injury situation's just starting to lighten a little bit, whereas it does feel a little bit like they've panicked on Rasmus Højlund ever so slightly, which is fine.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. SofaScore hasn't updated how they'll line up just yet, but we'll come to that if we can do in a minute. But no, I don't mind. Højlund, it's a bit of a test. Chris, you know, you've been keen to sort of stress this in the last couple of weeks prior to his injury. He's found goal scoring form. He's a handful. He's got what you need to be a good centre forward. So Liverpool's defence will have to be sharp if they want to handle him.
Yeah, they will. I think he's a really good player, actually. I think the problem he's got is he's got 10 really shit players behind him for the most part. But it actually probably makes a little bit of sense why maybe Gomez, Quansah and Van Dijk are all in there to me, because obviously we know about Rashford and stuff and what he does coming from that left-hand side. So I actually like the selection of Joe Gomez. Sorry?
Chelsea have scored, sorry.
Okay. I actually like the selection of Joe Gomez over there and dealing with it, using his experience to sort of probably deal with Marcus Rashford and stuff like that. So their front three is where their strength is, probably, isn't it? But that Garnacho's been playing well. I hate him. He's horrible. He's an absolute rat. But Garnacho, Rashford, Fernandes and Højlund up front is probably their strength, really. And equally, you could maybe say the same. I mean, I'm really interested to see this midfield again for us. You know, obviously we saw it midweek, didn't we? But Endo, Szoboszlai, McAllister might be our first choice midfield for the rest of the season, give or take. And then obviously this is as close to the starting front three that we're going to be able to get. So these 6 lads here really need to dominate and make sure that their front three don't get any say in the matter, and you know, we go out and score loads of goals. It should be a fun one, actually.
Yeah, no Casemiro for Manchester United.
It's probably in their favour and not ours, that.
Yeah. Still no sure. Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because I was just a glance at their team and bench. And I know there's some players in here they don't like. So I'm going to say Harry Maguire as an example is on the bench for them. Sofian Amrabat's on the bench. Mason Mount returns to the bench as well. Anthony's on there and Christian Eriksen. Like, in terms of like senior footballers, and particularly in terms of money spent, I'm waxing lyrical about the lads that we've got available on the bench, and I'm really pleased with them. They spent a damn sight more on those players, and I think they hate almost all of the lads that I've mentioned there as well. It's just funny, isn't it? I mean, maybe that's just my final point. It's just funny.
It speaks to how poor their recruiting's been in recent times, doesn't it, essentially, because you're right, there's some real missteps in the transfer market amongst them. I mean, Mason Mount, you might be fair enough to reserve judgment on him given how injury-plagued this first season's been. I think there's a footy player in there somewhere. But
we'd have all been made.
Yeah, exactly. But whether that comes to fruition at Manchester United, because how many times have we seen players who should have been successes go to Manchester United and not been? The list is endless, essentially. So yeah, there is some quality in there, no doubt about it, but I'm still far happier with our substitute options than I would be with theirs. And again, come back to what I said earlier, feels like in terms of as a moment, we're in a really, really good place right now, heading into this break with players to come back into it as well. And I think Cody Gakpo is one of them as well. You mentioned a moment ago. I think that what happened for him midweek was an absolute blessing in disguise. Being able to get the minutes and the goals into his legs was key for what, not just today, but moving forwards as well. I think it was really, really important.
Yeah, no, the one thing that I think is really important for Liverpool regards to the motivation for this is, we were talking about this earlier on, that there's a part of me that feels like somehow Liverpool playing Man City in an FA Cup final, you couldn't have a more destined end to a season for a Jurgen Klopp finale. But the thing is, that's still a good old way away, and they want that to be a thing Liverpool have got to get through today. But also from just a simple perspective, the FA Cup comes, the league finishes at the weekend, the Europa League finals the midweek, and the FA Cup's the weekend that follows. If we want Jurgen Klopp to stick around, we get a whole extra week of Jurgen Klopp as Liverpool manager if we get to the FA Cup final, so that's got to be motivation in and of itself. Just lastly on the Højlund thing, Chris, obviously Jarell Quansah's centre back. Does he handle Haaland brilliantly last week? But this is the thing, you know, those tests are going to keep coming. This is probably not the hardest team he's come up against, but this will be the most difficult environment that he's started a football match in. Yeah, by some distance. So, yeah, another huge test for him. He's passed all of them with flying colours so far.
He absolutely has. And you know, I'd argue that he keeps getting better as well. You know, I said I had some concerns about his pace and stuff like that. I look at him over the last sort of 6 months and question what I was looking at, to be honest with you. I mean, he seems to just get stronger and faster every single week. He seems to have a brilliant partnership with whoever he's playing with. He seems to be able to move right side and left side as well, depending on who he's playing with. He played really well with Robertson at centre-back in midweek and stuff, and whatever you throw at him, he's just takes it on his chest and carries on. And then there's times where he puts the ball down and runs out at the fence like Matip and gets shots off. He's on a hell of a ride at the moment, and I'm really, really excited because I think, you know, when you are sort of thinking about like Van Dijk and who's the future is and Canate and all this type of player, I think we've already got them at the football club, haven't we, really? Like, he just seems to be the heir apparent, but he's also ready for the first team right now. Like, imagine him in 4, 5, 6 years' time. We could be talking about him in the same way that we talk about him. He's just phenomenal.
Yeah. turned 21 on the 29th of January, so he's only just 21 years of age, and we forget because he's
Mental.
huge.
Yeah.
is a big
and the
thing.
way he handles himself as well, and not just in terms of on the pitch, but the way he speaks after the game as well. I seen he did a big interview with James Pearce this week, and I read the whole thing. It was really interesting, just on what Chris was saying there, like how he has different components and different attributes. It feels like from our centre backs game, like you mentioned the Joel Matip stuff. He actually spoke about learning from Joel and looking the way he goes about his business, and likewise Quansah, likewise Virgil van Dijk. So it's a mature head on very young shoulders. Obviously, physically, he's got it. You can see that. And clearly, he's got loads and loads of talent, those ways about it. But I think in terms of the way he's learning, he's tapping into the people around him. He's in a perfect environment for centre-halves to grow, because we've got such different types of centre-backs as well. And just taking little bits from all of them is the absolute perfect environment. I've been so pleased with him and so delighted with him.
He's got something that, like, not many of the others have as well. He likes a bit of a slidey.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that's kind of gone from the game for the most part.
Yeah,
and yet, Quansah seems to like to do that as well. Like, I love watching him, you know.
He plays both sides of the centre-backs, and I think that gets underrated. How important. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
That is
one of the best goals you'll see today. Hopefully not, but like, wow.
Good goal, man.
What a finish that
both
is.
last goals have been good there, you know.
Yeah. Madueke, absolutely
worldy.
Absolutely worldy for him. The fact is, you're right. He plays when he plays for Van Dijk, he plays right centre half, and then when Van Dijk comes off, he plays left centre half, and that's we've had a number of players over the years who have a really good centre half who haven't been able to do that for us, and it's a different type of defender. I think people forget that sometimes. You know, I've had a bit of a bee in my bonnet over centre halves this season because I've heard too much Van Dijk slander from outside sources. But yeah, you know, he can do the cover and stuff, which I think Chris is talking about, but he can do the command and centre-half stuff as well. But yeah, he's going to need to be on it today because Man United are going to be throwing absolutely everything at it to get a win. Yeah, not necessarily an attacking intent, but certainly, you know, in terms of the atmosphere and what have you. So yeah, big game for him. Imran sent a super chat in, says, if it is a draw, is it extra time and penalties? Yes, that's correct. That is correct. I believe it's extra time anyway. It should be.
Yeah, there's definitely no straight depends. Yeah. Definitely not.
Okay, right, sound. There you go. Wow, 4-2 to Chelsea. Looks like they are making their way with scant seconds left in that game through to the semi-finals. And they have done, in fact, full-time whistle at Stamford Bridge. Can Liverpool join them in the hat? Whew, there's only one way to find out. Well, there's loads. But you can, if one of them is joining us for the watch along 15 minutes before kickoff, that's 3:15, half an hour from now. Come and join us for that. Make sure you drop a like on this video. And if you need to get yourself a little bit of retail therapy in the meantime, some amazing merchandise available over on redmenmerch.com. Celebrate what's been a wonderful season so far and could only get even better by going to redmenmerch.com. Thank you so much. Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.